First of all, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. How's this for a title? Marvel hires another racist. Brie Larson still sucks. And let's laugh at Mark Waid. Edwin Boyett mentioned a long time ago that if you are thinking about making YouTube videos, you're going to need to have a very thick skin because you're going to piss people off. My words, not his. If you aren't in a strong mental state, don't make videos, stay off social media, or just lurk without signing in. Most people are going to hold views that piss someone off. I mean, you could disable comments, but half the point of YouTube is the comments. Usually the comments are more entertaining than the videos. Half the reason I make videos is so I can read people's comments. And here's the thing. If you aren't pissing a few people off, then you probably aren't speaking truth to power, to use an SJW phrase. It's not about not being PC. It's about pushing back against the censorship that the NPCs want to impose on us. And word to the wise, if you talk about Brie Larson, holy cow, wear your asbestos panties, because you will get roasted. Look at my last Brie Larson video and read the comments. Never mess with the fandom. But I don't care about going after such a public figure like Brie Larson. Public figures have always been subject to roasting. Even tort law recognizes this and applies different standards for private and public figures when analyzing defamation causes of action. But occasionally I will say something insensitive. I know, it's hard to believe, but people are kind enough to give me feedback. Douglas Ernst mentioned the new hire at Marvel who deleted 5,000 allegedly racist tweets. He got attacked by hundreds of Twitter sociopaths who defended her racist tweets. It's weird how SJWs are accepting of racism as long as it's against the right people. So a racist company hires a racist and everyone is surprised. How is this news? Marvel and mainstream comics has plenty of racist and misandrous people working there. You don't need direct evidence of Mark Waid, Sana Amanat, Gail Simone, and what's the other one? Bisha K. Ali's, and the assorted other idiots, racism and sexism. If you simply read the mainstream comics, you will see all the evidence of racism, sexism you could want. If you are unsure, imagine changing the blonde-haired German bad guy with an African, Latino, or Jew. If in every comic the antagonist was Mexican, people would notice and speak up. As well they should. It wouldn't be acceptable to make every evil character a rabbi or an imam. Iman? I don't know what they're called. The ADL, ACLU, SPLC, and CAR would lose their minds, though to be fair, the Muslims would probably kill you and pull a Charlie Hebdo. Je suis Marvel. In mainstream comics, the only people you can safely portray as malevolent and full of moral turpitude are the English and Germans, which is ironic because statistically they are the least likely to commit crime. Seems kind of strange. So whenever I see the blonde or red-haired gang member, I just roll my eyes. African and Latino gangs account for over 4 million people in America. Euro-American gangs are statistically insignificant. It's called a false equivalence because the numbers aren't anywhere close to parity, especially when you consider the relative population percentages. So that Pakistani racist getting hired isn't news, but it's great that we're talking about it. Bringing it to people's attention is a good thing. We absolutely have to point out their racist hypocrisy. But no, it won't change their hiring decisions. Most of the people at Marvel and DC are flat out racist and sexist. They aren't in the business to make money by selling a good product. They're in the business of pushing propaganda. They don't do it that well because they don't move that many items. If they were in the business to make money, they would hire on merit. They very clearly do not hire on merit. And that is what a $6 haircut looks like. It makes you look like, let's just call him Charlie Chaplin, the Austrian corporal from the 30s and 40s. Could you go on TV with a haircut like that? Wow. Wow. I would say the barber should be shot, but you get what you pay for, and you probably pay less than $10 for that. Let's see. Marvel Comics 1000 allegedly pulled Mark Waid's essay that called America deeply flawed. Now, this would actually be news if it was true. I find it very hard to believe. In Wade's insane, rambling rant, the California millionaire calls for a revolution to take to the streets to force those in power to listen. Something, injustice, blah, blah, inequality. It's funny that these millionaire socialists are always saying, kill the rich and take their stuff. That the privileged, wealthy Euro-Americans are so rich, except that they aren't. The wealthiest Americans are Jewish, Chinese, and Indian. Should we take their stuff, Mark? Marvel had Waid tone down his manifesto that calls for taking money away from privileged people like himself. Waid toned down an article because, of course, he would cave instantly. You know court cases can go either way, but your boy actually has a good chance of prevailing against Mark Waid. How will this change the industry? I suspect the comic book pros will be much more oblique when calling customers Nazis. They will pull a Mark Waid, like when he called a bisexual African an alleged, we'll call it Blanco Supreme person. You do the translation. The YouTube algorithm is a bitch, and I've already mentioned several hot words. Mark Waid just can't take a step without stepping on his own dick. He claims Richard Meyer is some sort of supremacist, but Mark, your boy Zach has 3 mixed kids. Does Zach support mixed race supremacy? Comicsgate is all Nazis who hate minorities. Hey, Mr. Waid, we are the minorities. We are a more mixed, diverse group than the comic book professionals. Don't swear. Does anyone care to speculate what will happen if Mark Waid loses? Nothing. The industry won't care. It's Mark Waid getting sued, not Marvel. No respondeat superior. Nothing will change. Anyway, check out ya boy Richard Meyer's GoFundMe. The legal team of Waid and Zaid are using delaying tactics over civil procedural jurisdictional issues to try to burn through Meyer's war campaign. It's not going to happen. If Meyer needs more money, I guarantee you that we will raise it. The difference between Meyer and Waid is that people like Meyer. People either loathe Waid or, if they're in the industry, are afraid of him. Waid raised $81,000 and Meyer raised over $130,000, plus some more via private donations, because Renfamous saw that someone donated $10,000 and then someone beat them by donating $10,001, and someone beat them by donating $11,000, something like that. But they used their name, so Renfamous, Ms. Lauren Cooper, doxed them. She went on her Twitter and she published the woman's name, photograph, place of employment, phone number. So this poor lady who's just making a donation to stand up for free speech and the ability of people to do business, she was called at work. Her boss was told that she's supporting a Nazi, and she was called at home by the sociopaths that Renfamous either advertently sicked on her. The beta orbiters to Renfamous. Though, if you're beta orbiting for Renfamous, she's nothing to get excited about. I mean, it's just, she looks like your older, chubbier sister. Anyway, that's what makes this article so funny. Get back in. It's a poorly written soy screed. Not even joking, I am sure the lispy writer was sucking down a soy latte when he penned it, and the foam was probably in shape of a penis. Let's take a quick gander at this article. Who is his name? It's something. He mentions the lawsuit. Okay, we all know the two main causes of action that have been publicized. There are probably some other ones. Tortious interference with contract is the big player, and defamation. And this, he says, I don't see the point of the lawsuit. I don't see the point of this lawsuit. What could Mark Waid say that would defame Meyer more than he's already defamed himself? This is actually a defense in the defamation proceedings where defamation is a cause of action against someone's character, harm to their reputation, that sort of thing. So this guy is saying if you can't really defame Stalin because Stalin is already so evil that there's nothing you could say about him that could actually harm his reputation. And this guy seems to think because Meyer has criticized comic book writing, bad comic book writing and bad comic book art, that Meyer is somehow Stalin equivalent, that he's so evil because he criticized bad comic books that he can't be defamed by being called a supreme blanco person. These people are insane. Yeah, he calls it roasting. He's roasting bad comics. Get over yourself. They are bad. They're really, really bad. Focuses on women, LGBT comic book community. Okay, the LGBT, Mags Visaggio and Michelle Perez, they're both these guys who have fantastic ideations of violence, of wishing violence on cis people, wishing that Myers was killed by terrorists in Afghanistan, that the Perez threatened his children, threatened his many ex-wives, his many children, threatened his kids. Michelle Perez threatened his kids. He also says something like, Perez says something like, his father taught him how to box, so he was going to meet Richard at a convention because he thinks he's going to, this man in a dress thinks he's going to beat up Richard Meyer at a convention. Mags Visaggio had this fantasy about killing cis people by hitting them in the face with a baseball bat, which is intent to commit grievous bodily injury or intent to commit murder. They're both really sick, depraved people with fantasies of violence. They're dangerous people. If you make a threat, you're a dangerous person. That must be taken seriously. I know the people on Perez's and Visaggio's side are saying, well, I don't think too many people are supporting Perez because he looks like he's actually very dangerous, a dangerous person. He's made very serious threats, death threats. Visaggio, I don't know. You're probably looking at him and saying, oh, he's not serious. He's just kidding. But, he threatened to attack people with a bat. It's not funny. It's creepy. And what brought this all on? Because your boy Zach is criticizing bad comic books. Anyway, he touches on one interesting point about where the damage is. remedies is an interesting area of law. It involves substantive law and procedural law. And there are many different types of remedies, classes of remedies, and that kind of thing. And there's courts of law and courts of equity and that kind of stuff, and specific performance and whatnot. But anyway, usually remedies are financial, right? Or you get somebody to stop doing something under threat of being locked up. So this guy's making the argument that Richard Meyer actually benefited from what's his name, Mark Waid's tortious interference. I don't think that's an element of the defense, and it's simple enough to look up. Look up the tort of tortious interference in Texas. Look up. You have to prove, say, 4 or 5 elements, and you have to prove them to a certain standard. If you prove those 4 or 5 elements, you're going to win. You have to look at the defenses to tortious interference in Texas. Does Waid meet the elements of those defense? No. It really seems like, from an outsider looking into it, that Myers has met his elements of tortious interference and also his elements of defamation. The odds are on his side that he's going to win, but of course there are no guarantees. Anything can happen. He might settle, or he could lose. He could lose. You never know. But it's we'll see. So the fact that Mark Waid, that idiot, actually probably helped Meyer because he actually publicized Meyer a little bit more. So I think Mark Waid probably helped Meyer make another $200,000. Anyway, this guy, Rick Rotman, I'm from California. He looks like just bald, bearded soy boy. At least he doesn't have that's the Chuck Wendig soy smile. You have an understanding of the law of tortious interference. Being a jerk is illegal. Directly interfering with contract is. Yeah, and you can't rebut that because he said something true and honest. If Mark Waid caused Antarctic Press to back out of his deal with Meyer, he should thank Waid, not sue him. By the same token, if a Texas jury awards Meyer a jackpot, Waid should thank him for bringing this to trial. After all, Meyer's doing Waid a huge favor by helping him shed some of that wicked privilege he feels so heavily burdened by. Happy Easter to you and your people. Christ is risen. Oh, Rick Rodman, why are you so salty? Why do you have such a sandy vagina? Rick Rotman? What a sandy boy. Very, very salty. Very, very salty. Why would you stick up for Mark Waid? He is a legitimately bad guy. It doesn't... I published a video where it's called, if you can Google it, it's, I think it's Mark Waid deleted GoFundMe comments. Mark Waid's deleted GoFundMe comments, and it got a lot of views. You can check it out on BitChute or on YouTube, and I read the deleted GoFundMe comments. Mark Waid said he would keep them up because he is stunning and brave, and he has broad shoulders upon which the poor minorities can rest their weary minority heads. Thank you, Mark Waid. So big of you, you fat 50-year-old douchebag. I don't see Mark Waid dressing up and taking to the streets anytime soon, because I don't even know if he can go up a flight of stairs without having a heart attack. Anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next episode.